Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. I apologise for being a day late, but in my defence, I have been very, very ill. So I've been in bed for the past 3 or 4 days. Hence the last minute rush to costume, because I've come home from work today and thought, I want to film, and then I thought, what's the point if you don't dress up? So I am a promising young woman. I'm a very underdone version of promising young woman because my nurse outfit is in the loft and the lights broke and I'm not going in there without lights. There's spiders everywhere. I did have lashes on for all of 2 minutes. I ordered these on Amazon and they are so much bigger than I thought they'd be. They're absolutely unnecessarily fucking huge. They're too big, like I couldn't see. The wig cap that they sent me with this is black, so that's really good. I look like Nessa with a full fringe, so we've had to pull it to the side. So all in all, it's been an absolute mare. I've got changed about 10 times, but who cares? No one cares about the outfit. I look insane in this wig, and who knows how long it will stay on for, because the wig cap says one size fits all, and I don't know if I've just got too much hair or a massive head, but it's cutting off the circulation. It's really quite uncomfortable. Anyway, whinge over. I hope everyone is doing well and is having a lovely Halloween week. I don't know if anyone did anything. I don't know why I'm asking that. Like, you can actually respond to me. I mean, I guess you can respond in the comments. I did nothing because I've been ill. I've barely moved for like 4 days. So not that I had any plans anyway, to be fair. I didn't miss any plans. So yes, this is the start of my Halloween. It was going to be a week, but it's probably going to be a few days now because I'm having to come home from work and then start filming. I'm going to try and do 2 this evening, which means my outfits again are just not going to be that as intricate as they were last year. Like, I really did go all out last year. Like, I took like a good hour and a half getting ready, whereas today I took a good 10 minutes. I'm hoping in here I've got my colour case. That's the colour one. Oh fuck, there's not a red in it. Okay, well my next idea might have just been shot in the face. Okay, there's a red in that one, it's fine. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So, I've got some Halloween cases. I actually do have more than a week's worth. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7, so I do actually have a week's worth. So, who knows? Halloween week might spew over into November, because I've actually got more than I realised. The one I'm doing today isn't actually set on Halloween. It's based around a scary TV show. It's based around American Horror Story. I don't know why I was trying to make it out to be a secret when it's going to be the name of the video, but I say it's based around American Horror Story. I mean that as loosely as I possibly can. I'll get into it. Oh, this is really hurting my head. I'm going to have dents in my head by the end of this. God, the wig's coming apart. I've got wig hair. So, back to what I was saying, because I feel like I keep rambling. I'm dressed as Promising Young Woman, very, very loosely. If you haven't seen that movie, I massively suggest you go and watch it. It's amazing. It's so good. So definitely go and watch that. I need to quickly skim through this to see if there are any trigger warnings. I don't think there are. So let's get into today's case. Trigger warnings before we start are bullying, self-harm and drugs. So if any of those are things you don't want to listen to or deal with at the moment, totally fine. I'll see you for another video. I forgot to put in a content warning for strong language on my last video. So this video, content warning, strong language. This is the case of Brittany Dwyer's. So we're starting today in August of 2016. Brittany had a lovely family. She had lovely parents and a lovely older brother, and they were always looking out for her. Sorry, there's a fly on that thing. Brittany was very much doted on by her family as she was the youngest daughter. Brittany was also very close with her granddad. Although they lived around 1,000 miles away from each other, they had a very special connection, and just like the rest of her family, Brittany's granddad doted on her as well. Once Brittany entered high school, things changed for her. She didn't really have that many friends. As she started to get older, she realised that she was gay, and no one in her school was out at the time, so she felt like she had no one she could kind of relate to, and she really struggled with that. It sent her into kind of isolating herself from everyone. Brittany started to feel very insecure within herself, and before this she was such a happy-go-lucky kind of girl, and this quickly faded away. Brittany was reluctant to come out while she was in high school for fear of being bullied, so Brittany decided to become her bully herself. She felt like she wanted to reject people and push people away before they got the chance to push her away. But ultimately this just ended up with Brittany being even more isolated and alone than she already was. People at school then started teasing and picking on Brittany, and because she was so isolated, she had no one there to stand up for her. Brittany's family started to notice how isolated Brittany was, and in turn, because of this, Brittany started to suffer from depression. So her family saw a counsellor, like a therapist, for her to speak to, but this seemed to have pretty much no effect on Brittany, and instead Brittany turned to self-harm to cope with her emotions. Brittany seemed to internalise all of her rage and depression and all of her horrible feelings. She didn't speak to anyone about it, she just kept it all inside, and this led to her developing some bad coping skills. There wasn't many things that Brittany seemed to enjoy, but one of the things she did enjoy was the TV show American Horror Story. Brittany related to the character Violet from Murder House, who herself was very isolated, struggled making friends, and turned to self-harm to cope with her feelings. Now, Brittany meets a girl called Jennifer in her class, and they start to form a bond and they start to form a romantic relationship with one another because they figure out they have quite a lot in common, including quite a lot of dark thoughts and dark fantasies. The pair spent a lot of time together in various different cemeteries, and they shared a fantasy of walking around together and just slitting people's throats at random, which I don't know, I would love to know, how does that come up in conversation and just by chance you both fantasize about the same thing and it's something that horrendous and that dark? Like, how did these people find each other? That's, because imagine, like, if my best friend came out and told me that, I would back away. I would be terrified. Like, how does that just come up? So not long after them forming a romantic connection, the girls actually move in together. I don't know how old they are at this point. And Jennifer becomes the complete centre of Brittany's world. Not long after they move in together, the bills start kind of mounting up, and Brittany doesn't want to tell her parents that she's struggling and that she needs help with money, because ultimately they will say, just stop being stupid, just come and move home. And that for her would mean being away from Jennifer, which just was not an option. But I really need to look up how old they were because they must be out of school. Instead, Brittany unfortunately turned to drugs and alcohol to help her cope with the mounting pressure. One weekend, Brittany's mother, Tanya, gives her a call and says, do you want to go and see Grandad at the weekend? And Brittany's over the moon by this, so she jumps at the chance and they make the 20-hour journey to the grandfather's house. 20 hours, that's insane. This was a great trip for Brittany because being with her granddad just made her so happy, and being away from the house that she was in, it made her kind of forget about all the problems that she was having and the money issues. While she was there, her granddad takes her to the shed and shows her basically his life savings as well as her grandmother's ring, and he's showing her this just in case anything should happen to him. He wants her to know where his prized possessions are, and there was about $100,000 in cash in this safe, which old people are crazy. Who keeps that much money in a safe? It's not even a safe, it's in a shed, not a shed, a set. Ugh. So once Brittany's made it home, she cannot stop thinking about the money in the shed. And she's thinking, I don't even need to take all of it. 30 grand would solve all of my problems. So she tells Jennifer about this, and they devise a plan to steal $30,000 of her granddad's money. Her granddad, who she loves. So Brittany and Jennifer then take their own 20-hour journey to Brittany's granddad's house, and whilst they're there they check into a hotel around the corner, and Brittany sends Jennifer to go and scope out the house. So while she's walking past, Brittany's granddad is out tending to the lawn or something, and he says hello to Jennifer, not knowing who she is, and just says like hi and waves and is friendly. So Jennifer texts Brittany and says, oh my God, he's so lovely. What a nice old man. And Brittany responds, yes, he's lovely. Don't get too attached. He might have to die. Sorry. When did this become murder? This was just, you were just going to take it. Stealing from your grandparents is bad enough. And now you're thinking, well, I might have to kill him to get this 30 grand. He's supposed to be like, she's supposed to really love and have a special bond with this granddad. So the next night, the pair of them sneak back over to Robert's at night. And they go to break into the shed, but there's a motion light. Like, you would have some form, I know it's not exactly security, but it's a form of security if you've got 100 grand in the shed. So he's got a little security light on top of the shed. So this goes off, like a motion light. This goes off and it spooks the girls and they run away. So that's the end of that. But Brittany was still not ready to give up this money. She could not get it out of her head. She felt like she needed it. And I feel like she felt like she was entitled to it as well. The girls make the 20-hour journey back home. And I believe it's a few weeks or so later, Jennifer breaks up with Brittany. She just can't handle this relationship anymore. It's becoming an emotional and a financial burden for her. This absolutely broke Brittany's heart. Jennifer was the centre of her world. Her world revolved around Jennifer and she was absolutely gutted. Angry and alone, I'm not really sure why Brittany did not move home. That rhymed. Because she could have just moved home, but instead she moves in with a woman she meets online called Bernadette. Bernadette sounds lovely. She sounds really nice. So she's a drug addict who's recently lost her child and she needs money to get her child back because she's not willing to give up the drugs. She just wants her child back, but she's not giving up drugs. The child's not worth giving up the drugs for. But she lost her child due to being an unfit parent, I'm assuming, because of the drugs. So instead of Brittany's life now revolving around Jennifer, it now revolves around drugs. And I'm assuming she was getting herself into financial difficulties over this. So the money was always in her head somewhere. It was always in the back of her head. And she just thought that was the solution to every problem she had, which it obviously wasn't. Brittany asked Bernadette to get in on robbing her granddad with her. And they devise a plan. It's pretty much the same as the last plan, other than they're just going to drive down and then go, which is a 40-hour trip. It's just, I can't imagine anything worth driving 20 hours for. I don't like driving 20 minutes to work. I hate driving. If I ever got rich, that's the one thing I'd want. I'd want a chauffeur. I don't ever want to drive again. The only thing that had changed about the plan now is that Brittany wasn't going to steal 30,000. She was going to steal all of it. Greedy. So once again, Brittany, I believe she makes the drive to her granddad's house. Although this time she has taken a knife in her pocket with her. I would die for my grandparents. I could never... Like, how anyone could ever think about killing their grandparents, I can't even, I've got no words. So Brittany actually goes into her granddad's house with the knife in her coat. And obviously he's confused, but really happy to see her. It's a nice visit. It's a nice surprise for him to see her. They sit down on the sofa and they're going through like old family pictures. And the longer she sits there, the more nervous she's becoming. And good. You should feel like shit. So she texts Bernadette and says, I don't think I can do this. And Bernadette responds, you have to, which she doesn't. She absolutely does not. It's going to be suspicious if you don't, but I don't understand what would be suspicious about it. She could have just really missed her granddad and wanted to go see him. So Brittany tells her granddad that she needs to leave. She takes the knife out of her coat and she brutally stabs her granddad in the back of the neck. At first, he's obviously just completely in shock. This little girl that he dotes on and loves so much has just savagely attacked him for seemingly no reason. She stabs him 3 more times in the neck and the chest, and he just keeps asking her why, and she doesn't respond. He stumbles to the kitchen and tries to find something to conceal the bleeding. He doesn't obviously try to retaliate or attack her back or anything else. He just wants to stop himself from bleeding. It seems that Brittany does go to kind of help Robert for a moment, but it's too late, and she then starts doing the washing up, and that seems very weird to start with, but she's actually just waiting for him to bleed out. She just wants to make sure he's absolutely dead before she leaves. What the fuck? Brittany then texts Bernadette saying it's done, and she then starts ransacking the house trying to find the key to the shed, which she cannot find. So in the end, she ends up taking some rare coins, around £1,000 in cash, and 2 digital cameras. Was it really worth it? Was it worth it? No. The thing is, he loved her so much. If she would have just gone to him and said that how much she was struggling and that she needed some help, I really can't imagine him not giving her the money that she needed. Maybe not 30 grand, that's a bit of a fucking ask, but he would have helped her 100%. So the girls leave, they drive away from the scene, and they think it will look like a robbery gone wrong, and they've left poor Robert dead on the kitchen floor. Now, Robert was very active in his community. He was obviously very friendly and just lovely and loved by quite a lot of people that lived in a close vicinity. And it wasn't long before the neighbours started to notice that Robert wasn't out and he wasn't around, and they started to get suspicious. And one of the neighbours actually had a key. So they let themselves in, and it was them who made the horrifying discovery of Robert. Police immediately started searching for why and who would want to do this to this lovely old man, and they actually received a tip from someone that Brittany and Bernadette had gone down to see him, and they think that they robbed him and killed him. It seems that Bernadette just couldn't keep it to herself. She seemed so fucking proud of what she'd done. She was telling everyone. Oh. Police take Brittany's phone and they find around 19,000 incriminating texts between her and Jennifer, between her and Bernadette. She's wrote everything down. She's texted everything. So Brittany is arrested. I believe she pleads guilty. She does plead guilty, so that's kind of a good thing. We don't have to suffer anyone through a trial. And she received 21 years to life in prison. She said that she was inspired by American Horror Story, and to her it was more than a show. Bernadette was also found guilty, but she was only sentenced to 13.5 years. I do kind of get the relation to American Horror Story, because like Tate and Violet, they have a love story and they're both kind of drawn to each other through darkness, and they're both attracted to dark and blood and horrible shit. So there is kind of a relation to American Horror Story, but also no at the same time. Like, no one's, I don't know, maybe I need to rewatch it. Maybe this is what it's about. But Brittany was 19 years old, and from the outside looking in, she had kind of what most people would dream of. She had a family that absolutely adored her, and to throw that all away and kill someone who loves you so much and would have helped you is just absolutely bonkers to me. It's just horrible. I mean, poor Robert. But that is all I have on this story. That was a very, very quick one. But yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? Oh my God, I need a positive thought. My positive thought right at this second is that I get to pull this wig off now. I really need to think of these before I start. My positive thought is I've actually got a really busy November, which is so unlike me, but I'm pretty sure I've got plans every single weekend, which is more plans than I've had for the entire year. So that's my positive thought. I've got a very busy November, which I'm really looking forward to. But I hope you enjoyed that. I am going to get out of this wig and get changed into another costume. Definitely one that doesn't involve a wig. I do have another one that involves a wig, but not today. Make good choices. Be nice to your grandparents. They are lovely people. I mean, I don't know about everyone's grandparents, but my grandparents are little angels. I love them, and I know they're watching. Make good choices. Love your grandparents. Buy wig caps that fit. Don't get murdered, and I'll see you next week. Bye. I'm really fucking hot in this wig. I look mental. Oh. I hate myself with a fringe. I think it's the eyelashes. I think the eyelashes need to go. Oh God, that's so much better. I can see it look worse, but I feel better. I think it might be this top as well. This eye look weird. You know what? That will do. Oh, this is really hurting my head. I'm gonna have dents in my head by the end of this. Oh my God, the wig's coming apart. I've got wig hair. I'm not enjoying this. Last year, the Beetlejuice wig wasn't as uncomfortable as this. This is, I think it's the wig cap. It's really tight. I know she was the youngest. Looking out for her. Sorry, there's a fly on them. I don't know. How does that, I would love to know, how does that come up in conversation? So itchy. 20 hours. It's not even a safe, it's in a shed. Not a shed, a set. Not a... I can't speak. I've got wig hair in my eye. I've got wig hair in my eye. I'm gonna pass out in a minute. I feel like I'm being bruised. Like I feel like I'm in a saw trap. So painful. Drive. Yeah, that's still on.